All right, let's dive into something pretty incredible. We're going to break down some new research that's uncovered a kind of hidden navigation system in your brain, a biological GPS that just takes over when your life literally depends on it. So, picture this. You're in a dangerous situation. A threat pops up out of nowhere, and you have to get to safety, like right now. How on earth does your brain, in a tiny fraction of a second, figure out the fastest, straightest path to a safe spot you might not even be looking at? That is the exact mystery we're going to unravel today. To get to the bottom of this, scientists looked at mice. Now, when a mouse senses a threat, it doesn't just panic and scatter randomly. No, it does something that's almost a flawless maneuver. See, it's not just about running away from the danger. The key is that it's instantly calculating where a known shelter is and running directly towards it, a much, much smarter way to survive. Okay, let's walk through that. A threat appears. In a split second, the mouse pivots its entire body to face the shelter, even if it can't see it at all. Then boom, it bolts in a perfectly straight line. And here's the most amazing part. It's not using its eyes to guide it in that moment. It is running purely on a preloaded mental map of its world. So that's the big question, right? How? How does the brain go from, oh no, danger, to launching a precision-guided missile of itself towards safety in just milliseconds? This isn't a guess. It's a real calculation. And to figure it out, we've got to peek inside the brain's circuitry. Let's think of this like a detective story. The perfect escape is our mystery, and we're on the hunt for the masterminds. Researchers pretty quickly narrowed it down to two main suspects, a couple of key brain regions they thought were working together to pull this whole thing off. So, let's meet the key players. First up, you've got the retrosplenial cortex, or RSP for short. Just think of this as the brain's map maker. It's where the mental map of important places gets stored. Then you have the superior colliculus, or SC. This is the action planner. Its job is to take information and turn it into actual movement, like turn your head this way. Now, for this whole thing to work at super high speed, the brain's map can't be like a paper map with north, south, east, and west. It's got to be personal. It uses what scientists call egocentric coordinates, which is just a fancy way of saying it's all relative to your own body. Is the shelter to my left? Behind me? Straight ahead? That's all the action planner needs to know. And, when the researchers actually recorded the activity in these two brain areas, they found their first huge clue. Neurons in both the map maker and the action planner were firing like a compass needle, constantly pointing toward the shelter, no matter which way the mouse was facing. But here's the thing in neuroscience. Just because two things are happening at once, it doesn't prove that one causes the other. To be sure this circuit was actually driving the escape, they had to do the critical experiment. They had to try and switch off this brain GPS and just see what happened. So the big question was this. What happens if you basically cut the phone line between the map maker and the action planner? If that map data can't get from the RSP to the SC, can the mouse still pull off that perfect escape? And the results? Well, they were dramatic. This chart says it all. The bar on the left shows the average mistake when that GPS pathway was working, just a tiny 5 degrees off. But look at the bar on the right. When they shut that pathway down, the error jumped all the way to 23 degrees. The mice were basically lost. This was the smoking gun. Okay, so this pathway is clearly essential for the escape, but is it some kind of all-purpose navigation system, or is it something way more specialized? Does the brain use it for every little movement, or just for this one life-or-death moment? And this table right here shows just how specialized it is. It's brilliant. When the researchers messed with the circuit, it completely destroyed the high-speed straight-line escape. But what about for slower stuff, like just casually finding a food reward? Had no effect at all. And for other fast actions, like just reflexively turning towards a sound, again, no effect. This circuit is a total specialist, built for one thing: fast, memory-guided escapes. So we know this circuit is essential, and we know it's a specialist. But that just leads to the next big question, right? How does it get so incredibly precise? How does it turn a fuzzy sense of the shelter's kinda over there into a command that is crystal clear? Well, the answer is in this really clever piece of brain engineering called signal sharpening. The technical term is feedforward lateral inhibition, but here's the basic idea. The signal from the map maker doesn't just activate go neurons in the action planner, it also activates stop neurons. And these stop neurons then just powerfully shut down all the competing signals, leaving only the correct one standing. And this right here is the tiny detail that makes the whole thing work so well. The connection from the map maker to those stop neurons is 1.8 times stronger than its connection to the go neurons. It's that powerful stop signal that carves out one single precise command from all the other noise. So let's put it all together. The map maker sends out a kind of blurry signal about the shelter's direction. That signal hits the action planner, and it turns on a small group of go neurons for that direction. But it also turns on a much bigger, much more powerful group of stop neurons. These stop neurons just immediately silence everything else. And the result is a single, sharp, unmistakable command: go this way. You know, this whole discovery is so much bigger than just how a mouse gets away from a predator. This feels like we're looking at a fundamental blueprint for how the brain makes fast, precise actions happen. It's a principle that could apply to all sorts of skills. What this research really shows is that our brains have parallel systems for getting around. You've got the slow, scenic routes we use for casual, everyday movements, and then you have these specialized expressways built to shuttle critical information straight from the thinking parts of the brain to the action centers, bypassing all the traffic when speed really, really matters. And hey, don't just take it from me. The researchers themselves said that this circuit could be a generic brain strategy. In other words, it's a basic design pattern, a trick the brain uses to take a complex idea, like the memory of a safe place, and instantly turn it into a fast, accurate action. And that just leaves us with this really fascinating final thought. If this is a generic strategy, what other expert skills rely on their own specialized brain expressways? You know, could a surgeon's precision or a pro athlete's split-second reflex, could they be powered by their own highly trained, specialized brain GPS? It really makes you wonder about how practice might literally be building new, faster roads inside our own minds.